Good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning. We'll start out by looking at yesterday's severe weather reports, and these are wind gusts 60 miles per hour or greater. And yeah, we had a smattering of 60, maybe 70 mile per hour wind gusts through parts of southeast Kansas and north central Oklahoma, just to the northeast of Tulsa, too. But by far the winner yesterday. And this was in that higher risk area, if you'll recall, the moderate risk. These are the wind gusts reported here. Some of the higher ones are that 100 mile per hour wind gust right there. That is near Goree, Texas, and 86 mile per hour wind gust. It looks like that's around Avica, and then another 81 mile per hour wind gust around Rotan. So these thunderstorms were quite active as they slid southeast across that part of Texas, basically the panhandle to the east of Amarillo and Lubbock. Now, what about hail size? We had some 2-inch hail from some of those thunderstorms there in west central Missouri last night. But we had a 4.25-inch hailstone southeast of Amarillo. Lots of 2-inch or greater, 2 to 3-inch hail reports in that part of the world too. And then, as far as tornadoes are concerned, these were all pretty much tucked away in the panhandle of Texas, just to the northwest of Dalhart, Texas. So we had some tornado reports there. We wouldn't know the intensity of those until actually the surveys are done. But and also we had some tornadoes there just around southeast of Missouri along I-55 there. So that was an interesting kind of separation of tornado events. Let's take a look at the visible satellite loop here this morning. Big swirl in the clouds over the northern plains getting into the Great Lakes. Huge upper atmospheric system disturbance there. That is kind of a pattern change. It's bringing in a lot of cooler and drier air finally to the central plains. So this thunderstorm area that has been plaguing this region for about a week is beginning to break down and shift more into this area. And even though that's not the focus of this video, you should know that Texas is now the target for heavier rains as we go through the next 5 to 7 days. Well, speaking of rain, we'll take a look at simulated radar, see what it's developing here over the next 2 days. That swirl in the upper atmosphere is apparent. Thunderstorms will be active in Kentucky and Tennessee today and in the southeastern U.S. and also again through New Mexico and West Texas. More thunderstorm activity. And to highlight and punctuate that, here is the severe thunderstorm outlook for today, Monday. Level 2 is the highest on this map, and it's a 2 out of 5 risk category. So New Mexico right along I-40, and also encompassing just about all of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, South Carolina included with that too, and up along the front into West Virginia, Pittsburgh under the gun there for some severe weather, and into western and central Pennsylvania as well. There's a tornado threat with this. It's a 2% chance. And so folks in western New York State, the Pittsburgh area, pretty much the western half of Pennsylvania, parts of Ohio and West Virginia are going to see that slight risk for tornadoes. And also from Jackson over toward Montgomery, maybe including Birmingham, Alabama today. And the Nadocast from Monday does have that corridor there where there's a 3% chance just off to the north of Pittsburgh, and then up to a 5% risk of tornadoes in South Mississippi and into south and central portions of Alabama. We'll take a look at the SIP's just general severe weather probabilities for today, pretty much in line with the outlooks that the SPC put out. And we'll skip over this one because that's an old one. And then we'll go to the CSU model here. So it does have that slight tornado risk up there where we indicated in the same one, basically. It's reflecting that. Not a lot of large hail, 1 inch or 1 inch or greater, maybe some probabilities there, some wind probabilities there in the southeast along those thunderstorm lines. And then we go to Tuesday. It's still some activity along the eastern seaboard, parts of the Carolinas, and the highest risk is way out in West Texas, level 2 there. That also happens to coincide with the tornado risk for tomorrow, which is 2%. Pretty isolated areas out there in Texas. Not a lot of population density out there, but still a couple of tornadoes could occur. And the SIP's severe weather outlook for Tuesday does have that eastern seaboard activity as well as that West Texas activity. And now let's take a look at the CSU version for Tuesday, and they have a little bit of maybe some hail probabilities there in far west Texas, corner of New Mexico, Otherwise, no tornado threats forecast for the by the CSU learning machine. Maybe some wind out there in that same area. We'll take a look at the jet stream level for Tuesday. So this is kind of a change here. So the main jet stream flow is still supporting cool weather and a front being driven through the northeast and the eastern U.S. A big ridge of high pressure developing here, and just enough maybe shear in the atmosphere and unstable air to support some of that very isolated severe weather activity in far west Texas. On Wednesday, things really kind of wash out. The east is free mostly of the severe weather threat. A little bit of a threat in Iowa, maybe over into northern Illinois, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, and South Texas, all 1 out of 5 risks. We'll see how that matches with CSU's idea. They definitely are emphasizing parts of Wyoming and the Corn Belt from, let's say, Lincoln over to Des Moines and maybe over to Dubuque, Illinois, and that's mostly a hail threat. Only tornado threat that might show up is in Montana, according to that analysis. And then we go to Thursday. The severe weather is definitely focused on Nebraska, South Dakota, parts of Wyoming. If we look at the jet stream, this is the EPS mean 500 millibar flow. The main jet is really starting to exit the U.S. here. But you'll notice stronger level winds are now coming in on Thursday. So that's what's leading to these higher risks up here. And there might be something down here in Louisiana by Thursday. East Texas with that small little wave there. We'll see how those winds shape up. And then on Friday, again, the epicenter pretty much doesn't move a whole lot. It's definitely in the high plains, Wyoming, parts of Nebraska, South Dakota. And then on Saturday, that shifts into Montana. The Saturday jet stream flow has the higher level winds that can support supercells coming from California up into Montana and Wyoming. So that's where that threat is located. Sure enough, on Sunday, kind of a continuation of that same pattern. NIU's forecasts for the next 7 days do include those higher risks for the next couple of days down in Texas. Then that goes away, and then you're getting that activity up in Wyoming and Montana. What about mid-June? High levels of severe weather activity. Really just a continuation of that same jet stream pattern I showed you for the next 7 days. That's actually going to just kind of move and shift into the northern plains. So, pretty high risk of supercells through much of Montana, the Dakotas, parts of Nebraska, Iowa, and also Minnesota. And then finally, just about closing out the month of June, week 3 almost gets into July now. And that same kind of epicenter in Nebraska, which is where severe weather is usually found in the mid and late part of June. Thanks for watching today's edition of Severe Thunderstorm Outlooks. This is published every day after the morning Storm Prediction Center update. Also, remember to check that site off on day 1 because they update it fairly frequently. If you like this video, please like it. Also, you can subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.